Hello, this is Lacquerography, and this is my wish list video for polish pickup for October 2023. And the theme this month has me absolutely in my element with 90s grunge. Give me my Doc Martens, some great 90s bands, some incredible CDs, and I'm ready to go. So already I've gone in and I've wish listed a hefty 27 items on my wish list. Some of these really captured my heart with the inspiration. Some of them were just unique offerings that caught my eye, and some of them were really the perfect blend of both of those. So let's take a look. If you like this type of video, feel free to give this one a like so I know that this is the type of content that you enjoy watching. Let's take a look at the wish list. The first item up on my wish list is by All Mixed Up Lacquers, and it's called I've Got a Flannel for That. I can't get over this color, that grungy kind of olive look with the contrasting warm shimmer. I'm all about this, and my grunge heart is so happy. The description that goes along with this one is that it's inspired by a flannel, ripped jeans, and skateboard picture. And it's a dingy olive green base with intense pink, orange, gold shifting shimmer. And there is no product cap for this one, meaning there is no limit to the amount that this maker is going to produce. If there's a cap, what that means is that there are only a certain number made available for the pre-order shop. And when they're sold out, that's it. They're no longer available. So already off to a fantastic start with this olive green. I just think it's gorgeous. And this contrasting shimmer to go along with it, I'm just so happy. So this one is All Mixed Up Lacquers. I've got a flannel for that. The next one up is by Atomic Polish, and it's called Frog Stomp. And in the 90s, this was a band that was not exactly the coolest for my group of friends to love, but I was a closet fan. I love the brilliant blue of this one and that reflective glitter effect that I think I'm seeing here. I'm in love with this polish. So the inspiration for this one is Silverchair, specifically their first album from 1995, Frog Stomp. And the description to go along with this one is that Frog Stomp is a teal green based polish with Aurora pigments with a heavy blue shift and green reflective polish. It says use in one coat to have it more green leaning or two coats to have a more opaque blue color. And there's no cap for this one either. Actually, I love that idea of it being so versatile that in one coat, it leans more green. In two coats, it leans more opaque blue. And the idea of green reflective polish in that, I kind of had the idea that there was something up with like a contrasting color of reflective glitter in this one from the swatch photos. But the fact that it is green reflective glitter, I just think that would be a stunning combination. I do love reflective glitter quite a bit. I know it's hard to remove, but I just find that the payoff of that extra otherworldly sparkle in any lighting is it's unlike anything else. So I am a fan. So this one's on the wish list, Atomic Polish, Frog Stomp. This next one up is by Baroness X, and it's called Crimson Glow, and this one's an OGUP. That also, don't be alarmed by these prices here. I am located in Canada, so it has switched into a Canadian dollar pricing system here. The dollar value will be less in US dollars if that's where you're located. I've become a fan of OGUP. I got into brands like Bee's Knees Lacquer that used it quite a bit, quite late in the game. So seeing something like this, I'm really intrigued by exploring another brand's use of OGUP just to give it a try. I'm loving these swatch photos over here. This one is inspired by a mashup of two things. One, Liquid Euphoria nail polish. It also had a unicorn pea pigment in it and was sold at Hot Topic. And two, Angela Chase's Crimson Glow hair from the TV show My So-Called Life. Actually, that was a show I never watched in the 90s. I have no idea why. So many of my friends loved it, and I feel like I missed out. Anyway, the description that goes along with the polish is that Crimson Glow is a wine ruby-colored jelly base with OGUP which is OG Unicorn Pea pigment that shifts through orange, yellow, green with gold reflective glitter. Actually, I didn't realize that there was reflective glitter as a component in there as well. So all those things considered for me, that really unique sort of shimmer aspect that you get with OGUP combined with some gold reflective glitter. And I'm a recent fan of red polishes. I never really cared for red polish before. I always loved the look of that pristine red on people, and I could never keep it that way. So I always shied away from red. I tend to chip my polish a lot. I work with my hands quite often. So I'm a recent red polish lover. It's a great opportunity as well for me to try OGUP by another brand. This one's Baroness X Crimson Glow, OGUP. So there's something about this next polish by Vanessa Molina called Fishnet Stockings that just, I don't know, screams a 90s aesthetic. I can't even pinpoint exactly what it is, but when I saw it, I thought, oh, I love it. Like I need this. So this one has, I can't even really articulate why, but it's become one of my front runners this month. This one is inspired by the fashion that marked many grunge fans, either in music or in the way of dressing. Fishnet stockings is more than necessary to compose your grunge look. It's described as a chameleon multi-chrome base with iridescent flakes and blue galaxy glitter. And there is a cap on this one of 700 available. So that's actually a fairly reasonable cap on this one, but boy, it's a unique polish. I definitely don't have anything that looks like this in my quite large collection, so it might go quickly. So for this one, there is just something about that deep brooding base in contrast with those iridescent flakes, multi-chrome flakes. Like I love this look, and it leaves me rather speechless. To me, there's something just in my gut that reminds me of growing up in the 90s. And I love this one. It's by Vanessa Molina, Fishnet Stockings. Really high on my wish list this month. So this next one is by Cadillacquer, and this one is Everlong. And the moment I saw the name of this polish, all I could picture was the album art for this Foo Fighters album from the 90s. So this one is inspired by the Foo Fighters. It is a deep blue with purple undertones, small blue turquoise iridescent flakes, opalescent glitter, and silver reflective glitter. And there are only 315 of these available. To me, it's a perfect interpretation of this inspiration. I can absolutely picture the album cover with this one. I can just see how the effect of the reflective glitter within this one too would just pick up the light and just this never-ending galaxy on the nails. I love this one as well. So this one is by Cadillacquer, Everlong. This next one up is by Cameo Colors Lacquers, and it's Sick Sad World. And there is just something about the combination of the components in this one that the moment I saw it, I thought, I love it. Like there's something about this kind of murky olive base, but then these metallic looking flakes, maybe even some hollow on top of that. Like I just think it really is a great contrast of kind of a pruggly base with beautiful flakes on top. Like I just love this one. This one is inspired by Sick Sad World from Daria, and it's an olive green crelly with a hint of scattered hollow sparkle, full of red, gold, green shifting shimmer, red and purple metallic flakes, and silver hollow microflakes. And there are only 105 of these available. That is a very small cap before this one is considered sold out. So if I do want this one, I'm going to have to get right on the website when it opens up at 11 a.m. on October the 6th and purchase right away. There really is just something about those hints of the metallic flakes in here that are so unexpected. I know I don't have anything like this in my collection. It appealed to me right from the moment I saw the first swatch photo of this polish. So this polish is Cameo Colors Lacquers, Sick Sad World. This next polish is from a relatively new to me brand that I only actually just heard about for the first time, maybe about a week ago. This one is by Chameleon Nails, and it's called Cats in the Cradle. This one is inspired by one of my favorite songs, Cats in the Cradle by Ugly Kid Joe. It's a black, cold to gray, colorless, warm thermal with pink and yellow iridescent flakies, black matte flakies, and golden reflective glitters. This one as well has a cap of only 450 of these available. There really is just something about the way these flakies pop in these base colors, whether it's in its warm or cool state. I just think it's unlike anything I've ever seen. And the fact, too, that there's some reflective glitter in here. I am a fan of reflective glitter. I don't know that I necessarily need all of my purchases this month to have it. And actually, there's a number of them in this wish list that do have reflective glitter as a component. I don't know. There really is just something about this one that is just beautiful and unique. And I like it in all states. And I have to say, I wish my nails were maybe a little bit longer so I could get this kind of gradient almost effect on my nails. I've got much shorter nails than this. And here it is with a little bit of a reflective glitter effect going on with some flash photography. And this is a beautiful polish. I really do enjoy the way this one looks in both states, the warm and the cool. There is a shelf life to thermal polishes, which I am aware of. And I do have to be careful that I use up thermal polishes that I already have in a more efficient way so that they can continue to provide me that joy in their ability to transition before they get stuck in one state or the other, or a midway in between kind of state. But I really do think that I would love this polish no matter how it looked, whether it was in its warm, cool, or some sort of an in-between state. So this one is Chameleon Nails Cats in the Cradle. This next one up is by Clionadh Cosmetics, and this one is Helix. And this is a brand that I've been very quickly amassing a huge collection of their polishes. And this one appeals to me as well. The description for this one is that it is inspired by the rising popularity of body piercings in the 90s. The smoky olive base with salmon, orange, yellow, green shimmer, and hollow flakes, and there's no cap. I'm noticing this month that olive tone is one that's really catching my attention. This one is another one in that family that is absolutely gorgeous, and it really doesn't look like any of the other ones that I've already added to my wish list, even though technically it is categorized in that olive family. I just think this one's beautiful, and I've been such a fan of Clionadh Cosmetics, and my collection from them is growing rapidly. So this one is Clionadh Cosmetics Helix. So I'm noticing another trend in my wish list, and it's reds. And in this case, this one is by Colores de Carol, and this one is Red Hot Flannel. I am noticing right here that this one is magnetic, and I am noticing a great magnetic effect through many of these swatches. This one is inspired by a red flannel, and it's a deep oxblood with green, gold, copper, purple shift, fairy flakes, purple green, and multi-dimensional magnetic effect. Again, no cap for this one. Here's a swatch photo with a little bit more of the magnetic effect visible through here. I just think it's really beautiful. Again, I don't own very many red polishes. I've just recently become a fan of red polishes. So I'm actually looking forward to accumulating a few more in some different kind of finishes. And this magnetic is looking pretty appealing to me this month. So Colores de Carol, Red Hot Flannel. This next item up is my first non-polish item that I've wish listed for the month. This one is the Da Bomber by Red Eyed Lacquer, and it's moving to the country to eat a lot of apples. It's a great name. This one is inspired by Country Apple Bath and Body Works scent, and it's Da Bomber in the infamous Country Apple scent. And there's only 100 of these available. Some really great ingredients that you can see listed here on the screen. I've actually only ever tried this Da Bomber product only once ever, and I really enjoyed it. And moving into the cooler weather, I do find that this is a little bit more nourishing than the creams and things like that I typically use. I do really find that this one is a little bit more nourishing than some of the other products that I typically use more in the summer and things like that. So I am really curious to try another one of these Da Bombers. The scent sounds really appealing, and we are heading into some cooler weather. I am also an eczema sufferer, so trying some nice nourishing products with some great ingredients is always an appealing thing for me. especially in these fall scents, which are some of my favorite of the year. So this one is by Red Eyed Lacquer. It's the De Bomber in Moving to the Country to Eat a Lot of Apples. And here's another red. This one is by Dreamland Lacquer, Down by the Water. And I think this one is absolutely gorgeous. And if I'm not mistaken, I can see some incredible rainbows of hollow popping off the nail in this swatch right here. The description for this one is that it is inspired by Natalie in the 1996 Yellow Jackets timeline and the song Down by the Water by PJ Harvey. It's a super saturated red linear hollow, and it's opaque in 2 to 3 coats. And there is a cap, 500 of these ones available. I only own a few items from Dreamland Lacquer, and I've been so impressed with the quality of their polishes. I think I own 5 of them, and I think I've actually only tried about 3 of them before. I've got to get on that, trying some of my untried Dreamland lacquers. But I find that the quality of their polishes as well as their uniqueness for me has just been gorgeous consistently within all the products of theirs that I have purchased. So the fact that this red is offered this month and I am looking to grow my collection of reds, this one is pretty appealing. And I just think that the rainbows leaping off these nails, it's pretty consistent in all of these swatch photos that the rainbow effect of this linear hollow is quite something. And there it is again. So this one is Dreamland Lacquer, Down by the Water, yet another gorgeous red on my wish list. This next one up is a really interesting one for me. This one is Garden Path Lacquer's Find Another Way. The inspiration for this one is the music video for Blind Melon's Change. In the opening lyrics, I don't feel the sun's coming out today. It's staying in. It's going to find another way. And this one is a clear base, accented with finely milled gold shimmer, gold to red shifting aurora shimmer, and gold holographic micro glitter. Super shifty in 1 or 2 sheer coats and builds to a metallic gold finish in 3 coats. I've been loving buildable polishes lately, so the fact that this one can be used in 1, 2, or 3 coats really appeals to me. The other thing that I really find interesting about this polish, other than its buildability, is the inspiration. I am familiar with the inspiration of Blind Melon. Amazing inspiration there. But there's also, more recently, it has nothing to do with the grunge era, although this Canadian band kind of was maybe born out of the grunge era. The band Big Wreck and the frontman Ian Thornley had a band called Thornley. And in the band Thornley, they released a song that I cannot get out of my head when I see the name of this polish. Find Another Way. It was I Found Another Way. Was the name of that song as well. So for me, this one has kind of a 2-tiered pull for me. Like I know both of these, both the inspiration that's intended, plus it's pulling me another way as well. And along with that, I love the sheerness of this polish, the fact that it's buildable, and I just think it's gorgeous. And I really enjoy the polishes that I've purchased from Garden Path Lacquers. And I'm really impressed by this offering. This one is Garden Path Lacquer's Find Another Way. For this next one up, it's from Glisten and Glow, and it's Nirvana Unplugged in New York. And the moment I saw this, I could picture the album cover that I have on my CD in my basement. And I just think this is, again, an excellent interpretation of the inspiration. I think it's bang on. This one is inspired by Nirvana. 1994 brought us 2 things, one iconic and one tragic. In 1993, Nirvana with frontman Kurt Cobain recorded MTV's Nirvana Unplugged in New York. The album was released in November of 1994 and debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 and sold 310,500 copies, the highest first-week sales of Nirvana's career. Prior to the album's release, Kurt Cobain took his own life. Many, like myself, still mourn his passing. We are grateful to have this album and other Nirvana albums to keep his memory alive. The album cover is the inspo color for this polish, and it's described as a deep berry red jelly polish filled with color-shifting, larger particle shimmer that shift from red, orange, yellow, and green. And I can remember when this album was released. I can remember when Kurt Cobain passed. I mean, all of this and the color inspiration is absolutely perfect to me. So this one just tugs at my heartstrings. This one is Glisten and Glow Nirvana Unplugged in New York, and now I want to get the CD from my basement and listen to it right now. I've got another non-polish item up next. This one is the Hand and Body Sugar Scrub by KB Shimmer in the scent of pear berry. And this is a product that I always keep my eye on month upon month in polish pickup. And anytime that there's a scent that catches my eye, I add it to the wish list. And this is one of those months that it has made my wish list. So this one is inspired by Pearberry 90s scent. And it does say that for this one, Pearberry is our throwback to a 90s fragrance many teens loved. Juicy notes of delicious pear blend seamlessly with ripe raspberry, boysenberry, and blackberry. A hint of apple adds a bit of sugary sweetness to this throwback scent. I know that I already love the product, and I'm really eager to try out this scent. So this one is Hand and Body Sugar Scrub by KB Shimmer, and this one is in the scent of Pearberry. This next one tugs at my heartstrings as well. This one is by Inspired Scents, and it's Peter Pumpkinhead Cuticle Oil. This one is inspired by the Crash Test Dummies, the Ballad of Peter Pumpkinhead. And I saw that band live opening for Alanis Morissette in Toronto back in the 90s. And I absolutely love that show and I remember it well. And not only that, that is a great song by Crash Test Dummies, an incredible Canadian band that I think was so unique and rather underappreciated for how unique they were. This one is a fabulous fall scented cuticle oil in our famous fragrance Fall Harvest. And this, the size of this product is 3 milliliters, and there are 100 of these available. Especially the fact that this is inspired by an incredible band that I think is gravely underappreciated, the Crash Test Dummies. It makes me wonder where they are now. This one is the Cuticle Oil by Inspired Scents in the scent Peter Pumpkinhead. This next one up is by Jen and Berries. These boots are made for moshing. And this one is inspired by 1990s era oxblood colored Doc Martens 8-hole boots. Some of my favorites, and I never owned them in the oxblood color. It's actually something that still to this day I have my eye on purchasing at some point. I have an enormous Doc Martens collection, but none in that 8-hole oxblood. And one of these days, they're going to be mine. The description that goes along with this polish is that it is a deep oxblood base with black to red shifting microflakies and a soft dusting of holographic microflakies. And there are only 250 of these ones available. Now this one has an incredible look, shiny, and actually I think this one looks mattified to me, and that one is quite a cool look as well. In fact, I mean, this one really kind of looks like Doc Martens with a bit of a sheen on them too. So I don't know. This one as well just gets my heart, and it's all the nostalgia, but also something that I still hope that I can own one day in these Doc Martens. Jen and Berries, these boots are made for moshing. This next one up for me seems to be incredibly unique, and this one is by Gior Couture, and it's grungy. And I'm just loving the color contrast here. This one is inspired by Naomi Campbell in a grunge outfit. It's a denim blue to light corduroy brown thermal with bronze and chameleon micro glitter. And there's actually no listed cap for this one, which is kind of interesting. I just selected this swatch photo because I noticed that it was showing both the warm and cool state, but also this like in-between state as well. And I just think I really have seen nothing else like this one. I love the contrast in states of this polish. I think it's completely unique. The components of this one in this thermal, I've never seen anything like this. And that's something that has really impressed me in this month's offerings. I think it's one of those things with the 90s grunge theme that some people are really going to love it and others might be able to leave it. But for me, I love it. And the originality that's coming out of this theme is just blowing my mind. So this one is Gior Couture Grungy. This next gorgeous offering is by Kathleen & Co. Release. And this is another one that for me just perfectly captures the inspiration. This one is inspired by Pearl Jam's album 10, and Release is a purple-based multi-chrome with red magnetic pull, can be worn without magnetic effect as well. And that's always a great draw for me. A polish that can be worn multiple ways and still look amazing. And there's no availability cap on this one either. Now, this one's an interesting one for me because I've been drawn to a lot of sort of reds. This one's a little bit different. It does have a little bit more of like a fuchsia purple aspect to the red as well. And the fact that it's got this gorgeous metallic pull, I can also absolutely see how this color and this polish was drawn from Pearl Jam's 10. Again, that's another CD I have down in my basement that once I'm done recording this video, I'm going to go pull out some of these amazing 90s grunge albums and give this one a good listen. I think I knew every lyric off this CD. So this one is Kathleen & Co. Release. I love it. So this next polish up is by KB Shimmer, Come As You Are. And I think I have to say that this one is my top pick this month. And boy, there's a lot this month that are catching my eye and I'm absolutely in love with. But this one, every time I see it, it rather takes my breath away. So this one is inspired by Unplugged. And the Unplugged shows, it says that they had a special place in our hearts. Absolutely. Some of my favorite CDs that I have in my basement, cassettes, some of my favorite shows on MTV or Much Music is the one that we have here in Canada or had here in Canada that had an incredible intimate and interactive or unplugged series. I mean, greats like Eric Clapton, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, and there were so many. To me, such a defining thing of the 90s from when I was growing up, this Unplugged series. So in this case, Come As You Are is a nod to that historical performance. It's a muted olive green base, mimics that famous knitted item, while a bold blue shimmer pops like the stage lighting. Silver reflective pigment adds a dash of sparkle for a unique shade perfect in two coats. And honestly, in terms of music videos, that one of Come As You Are Unplugged has got to be one of the most iconic of the decade. And I really just do think that this polish captures that moment, that sweater, that video, and this era. Just, it is absolutely just perfection. And I need this polish. So this one is KB Shimmer, Come As You Are. This next polish is by Lemming Lacquer, and it's All I Really Want. This one is inspired by my favorite Wet n Wild nail polish. It was the first nail polish that was completely mine, and I wore it all the time as a child. The name is taken from the song of the same name by Alanis Morissette. Of course, as a Canadian, Alanis Morissette, one of the best. All I Really Want is the ultimate nail polish for all you 90s grunge aficionados out there. This nail lacquer boasts a rebellious blue-violet jelly base that's as moody as your favorite 90s rock ballads, and its brilliant sapphire to violet shimmer adds an edgy twist that's perfect for your alternative style. Embrace the grunge spirit and rock your nails with this mesmerizing shade that's as iconic as the decade itself. And there are only 200 of these ones available. Now, I actually love that this one is inspired directly by a nail polish in the 1990s. And I can remember I had no money in the 90s, so I wasn't buying a whole lot of nail polishes. I had a few, and nail polish was really my cosmetic of choice. But I didn't have a lot of income. I only just started with my first job, also in the mid 90s. So, that was a thing. But I can remember just looking at the displays of brands like Wet n Wild. I can remember looking at Urban Decay, and I can just remember looking at these. It was like a kid in a candy store kind of effect on me. I loved them all, and I really wanted them all. And that's probably what started my addiction to nail polish to begin with. This color just absolutely gets me. There have been a lot of brands lately that have been offering this kind of almost electric blue or blue violet color, and I haven't purchased any of them yet. So this one is fitting all that vibe for me. And of course, Alanis Morissette, I love it. all I really want is such a great offering here by Lemming Lacquer. So this next item up is one by a brand that I've never tried before. So this is the Nail Elixir by Vapid. And the scent for this one is Black Raspberry Vanilla. This one's inspired by those classic 90s staple scents. Black Raspberry Vanilla scented that creamy, fruity staple of the 90s. There were a handful of scents that remind me of the grunge era, and this one was my signature scent back in the days of flannels and chucks. So yeah, I've never tried this product before, but I've just heard great things. And there's something about this scent being black raspberry vanilla. I think this is the time for me to try it. So this one is Nail Elixir by Vapid in black raspberry vanilla. So here's another one that gives off a little bit more of that olivey green vibe again. And this one is by Night Owl Lacquer in Harsh Realm. This one is inspired by an article that I read about grunge slang words that were made up as a joke by a receptionist of an alternative record label in Seattle. This is a clear base filled with green reflective glitter pigment, red, orange, gold, green, crystal chameleon flakes, and black flakes. And it says, if you loved Halloween always, this is its green sibling. I own Halloween always, and I absolutely love it. So that's another reason why this one absolutely appeals to me. Again, I really do have quite a green thing going on this month between the greens and the reds. I have a lot in my wish list right now, so I don't really think that I can get all of them. But the fact that I already own Halloween Always and I love it, that's also a polish that recently came back in PPU Rewind. I think I'd be heartbroken if I passed this one up. This one is Night Owl Lacquer Harsh Realm. This offering is another non-polish item. This time it's from Northern Star, and this one is the Cozy Autumn Scented Cuticle Oil Sampler. And this one, anytime it's offered, this is always one that I check out because it's become one of my favorite products. And again, anytime the combination of scents in these 4 sampler cuticle oils, anytime most of the scents in this sampler appeal to me, this one goes in my shopping cart. This month, it's inspired by Cozy Autumn vibes. In this sampler, the 4 scents are Sweater Weather, which is a scent that evokes the quintessential fall vibe with a woody and earthy base mixed with crisp green apples, mint, pine, eucalyptus, and camphor. There's Hot Cocoa, which is snuggle on the couch in front of a fire after a busy day at the pumpkin patch and indulge in the scent of melted dark chocolate, milk, vanilla, nutmeg, coconut, and sandalwood. Apple Champagne, which is a slightly more sophisticated scent of sweet apples, bubbly, blended with soft musk and light florals of lilies and roses. And then last but not least, Chrysanthemum, which is a fruity floral with the scents of chrysanthemums mixed with bergamot and pear. I just think that this has all the cozy autumn vibes as it's described. And this one, for yet another month, has been added to my wish list. So this is Northern Star Cozy Autumn Scented Cuticle Oil Sampler. This next one is one that I actually caught on social media with a live swatch on Instagram. I can't remember who the swatcher was at the time, but it kind of knocked my socks off. This one is by Rogue Lacquer, and this one is Urban Decay. Again, one of those iconic brands that I associate with a great department store, huge one in my area, selling like the most wild nail polishes, and I wanted to own them all. So this offering by Rogue Lacquer is Urban Decay, and it just brings back all kinds of memories of an enormous department store in my area and me just looking at this rack of incredibly wild colored nail polishes and me just wanting them all. This one is inspired by those iconic 90s Urban Decay nail polishes. It is a brown tone purple with purple, magenta, and orange flakes, as well as a subtle flash of gold glass flakes that's sure to bring you back in time to your gloomy grunge youth. So I just think that there's something incredibly special about this polish, the way that these flakies hit light. Actually, I have to admit that the base color being kind of a brown purple, that kind of surprised me a little bit. But now that I see this swatch and I'm looking at it really closely here, I can see it. I guess I was just totally mesmerized by these flakies and the way that they catch the light. So this one, Rogue Lacquer's Urban Decay, this one had me speechless when I saw the live swatch photos, and I'm going to keep watching those live swatch photos until the day that I finally make my purchase. This next item really intrigues me. This one is a stamping plate by Hit the Bottle Polishes, and it's called Match It Up. This one's an interesting item to me. It's designed to be used in layered stamping, giving you a more intricate and colored look in just 2 stamps. And it's designed to be read down in columns. And there's actually a lot of interesting description to go along with this one and some hints as to how to use it. But I really do think that the way this is put together is just so creative. I think it creates kind of this like op art kind of look to it. I'm intrigued by the birds. I'm always intrigued by these kind of geometric layered patterns. I think they're beautiful. And actually these kind of like floral and leaf type nature images as well. Like, I don't know, there's something about this. Like, I really want to give it a try. I haven't done much stamping at all, and I'm amassing quite a collection of plates, which is a bit of a problem. I need to get on using some of them, but there's just something really special about this one. I can't wait to give this one a try. So this one is the stamping plate by Hit the Bottle Polishes called Match It Up. This one's another front runner on my wish list. This one is by Vapid, and this one is called Jar of Flies. And again, another olivey green, but I just think that this one, it's a pruggly, but it's also incredibly beautiful looking. This polish is inspired by the music of Alice in Chains, and it's named after their album Jar of Flies. And I love the range of inspiration, I've got to say, from the makers this month. They've hit most of my greatest hits in terms of 90s grunge. It's a swampy green linear holographic base, provides a sludgy reverb-filled base. The flakes are iridescent and give a red copper gold color shift. This color does well in 3 thin coats. I love this both matte and high gloss. Here's an image of it matte. I agree. This one looks beautiful. Matte, it looks beautiful glossy. There's something about this one as well. The moment I saw it, I just thought, it's pruggly but beautiful. And I think for me that almost defines 90s grunge for me. It was ugly but beautiful in its, for me, in its rawness. And I think that's what this captures for me. And I love it. So this one is Vapid Jar of Flies. The last one on my wish list is by Wildflower Lacquer, and it's Last Kiss. This one is inspired by 90s lipstick. The name is from Pearl Jam's Last Kiss. It's a black and red leaning maroon base with purple to pink to orange shifting shimmer. It says, please wear a good base coat as this will likely stain. And actually, that doesn't really surprise me. That is a deep color. Here's another look at it here. I love just how deep and moody and vampy this one is. For me, it's fitting that draw that I have right now of picking up more red leaning nail polishes. This one is definitely a deeper, blacker, moodier version of that. And I just think it is spectacular. I can see that in different lighting, it will lighten up a little bit so you get more of that red shimmer, but otherwise it looks nearly black. I just think it's brooding. It reminds me a lot of those Doc Martens that I kind of covet after all these decades. I just think this is a beautiful offering again from Wildflower Lacquer, Last Kiss. So that's it for my wish list this month. I've got 27 items on here, which is way too many, but you can really hear it. Like, the 90s and the grunge era really did shape me as I was growing up. So many of these just tug at my heart, and I really don't know how I'm going to make a decision, but I need to, and I need to narrow it down from here. I have a huge number of reds, a huge number of olives, and a lot of reflective glitters this month as well, along with a lot of non-polish items. So I'm noticing some trends. I'll have to narrow it down within those categories, but some really incredible offerings. I just love what the makers have done this month. I've got it open on the calendar of events right here. The website for PPU is incredible. They've got really everything that you need to know within these tabs here. I'm in the calendar of events, which is under the customers tab, and it gives you all the information you need that this shop is open for pre-order one weekend only. It's from Friday, October the 6th at 11 o'clock a.m. That's Eastern time. And it closes on Monday, October the 9th at 11:59 p.m. again Eastern time. Shopping happens on the PPU website, which is www.polishpickup.com. And this is a pre-order. So you place your order, and a few weeks later, the makers send their polishes to PPU headquarters. And then from there, the polishes all make their way together to you. And I should say, not just polishes, polish adjacent items. There's an incredible number of items on offer this month. Thank you so much for joining me this month for this enormous wish list for 90s grunge for October 2023 in Polish Pickup. If you like this type of content of wish listing, please give me a like on this video. It lets me know that I'm doing a good job and that you like this type of video coming your way. Also, I'd love to know if you're shopping PPU this month. What are you hoping to get? What are your thoughts on my wish list? Also, I'd really appreciate it if you could help me narrow down my wish list. I'd love to know how you are making your selections. I need to do much better with cutting down the amount that I'm purchasing. But when offerings are this good, I don't know how I'm going to do it. These makers, I would like to applaud them for maybe one of my favorite months. It's captured my heart. So thanks again for joining me this month. If you enjoy this type of content, please consider subscribing. I am Lacquerography, and hopefully I'll see you again in the next video. Thanks so much. Bye.